Given the suffering of this world, how can anyone believe in a good God or a happy ending? In Daniel 7, the prophet has a vision of horrific cruelty. It was a vision by night that left him, in his own words in verse 15, troubled in spirit and his mind disturbed. In verse 28, Daniel speaks of this vision and says he is deeply troubled by his thoughts, his face turned pale. Daniel has been completely kicked in the guts by this vision of horrific reality. What is it that caused him such consternation? Actually, it was a vision of global politics. It was a vision of 4 ruthless kingdoms devouring everything in their wake. The first kingdom was like a lion with the wings of an eagle. It was fast and powerful in its conquests. The second was like a merciless bear which devours its people. The third was like a leopard with 4 wings, bringing swift destruction. And the fourth? Well, this is like nothing Daniel had ever seen. This 4th kingdom is terrifying and frightening and very powerful. From the 4th kingdom will come a king who will be this Antichrist figure. Verse 25 speaks of this Antichrist figure speaking against the Most High and oppressing the holy people, trying to change the set times and the laws. The holy people will be delivered into the hands of this Antichrist figure. Unsurprisingly, as an Antichrist, he does the opposite of Jesus. He blasphemes the Father, the Most High, and he oppresses his children. And so Daniel is faced with the ruthlessness of earth and the rebelliousness of hell. All of it is worked out in these warring power plays of this world's kingdom. And then it comes to our phrase for today, verse 18. In the midst of heaven and, or rather of earth and hell that seem to be pitted against him, nonetheless, verse 18, the saints of the Most High will receive the kingdom and will possess it forever. Yes, forever and ever. Our phrase for today. There is a good God who is high over this suffering world, and there is a happily ever after. There is a forever and ever that is good. How can that happen? Well, the vision of these 4 kingdoms actually gives way to a final vision. So these 4 kingdoms rise up before Daniel, and then in verse 9, as he looks, thrones are set in place, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His clothing was as white as snow. His hair was white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire, and its wheels were all ablaze. The river of fire was flowing, coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was seated, and the books were opened. With our eyes fixed on earth, all we see are monstrous power plays. Daniel looks up to see the one called the Ancient of Days, one who has seen it all before. This figure is not indifferent to evil. In verses 11 and 12, there's a fiery river that flows from this throne to judge all the beastly kingdoms of this world. The evil of earth and hell will be consumed by the judgment of heaven. All wickedness will meet its end in the judgment of the Ancient of Days. That's good news. But how will the Most High destroy evil without destroying us too? Haven't we contributed to the beastliness of the earth? How can we ever have a happily ever after? How can we have this happy forever and ever when this river of fire surely has our number too? Well, from verse 13 and 14, we see the answer. Here we see someone who is not beastly, not like us, not like the kingdoms of the world. He is quintessentially human. He is the Son of Man. Verse 13, in my vision at night I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All peoples, nations, and men of every language worshipped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. The Son of Man approaches the Ancient of Days. He is not swept away in the blazing purity that flows from God the Father. He belongs in the presence of the Most High, and to him is given everlasting dominion, forever and ever. There is a way from the evil of earth to the throne of heaven, and that way is the Son of Man. This Son of Man enters heaven not just in his own name, but he enters it on behalf of his people. And everything that is given to him belongs to his people also. That's why it's able to say in verse 18 that the kingdom belongs not just to the Son of Man, but to all the holy ones, all the saints, all those who have trusted in him. So yes, there is a Most High seated on the throne. And from his blazing goodness, judgment will flow out to consume the evil of this world. Can we believe in a happy ending? Yes. There is a Son of Man who on the cross fought upstream through that fiery judgment to bring us into an unshakable kingdom. In Jesus, we have a good God and a happy ending forever and ever.